In this lesson, we're looking at how health teachers should use data in their lesson planning and in their roles in making schools overall more healthy. Our goal is that our students who watch this video will be able to get data sets and find data sets that are appropriate and know how to read the results and interpret them. Now, we need to look at what's the difference between a survey and a questionnaire, and oftentimes these are used interchangeably, and it's a little bit interesting. A survey is defined as a measure of opinions or experiences for a group of people through asking questions. This is different than a questionnaire, which is a set of printed or written questions with a choice of answers for a statistical study. So really a questionnaire is a tool to be used for a survey, so the two words should not be used interchangeably. First, we need to find out what are the consequences of negative health behaviors. And then once we know what the consequences are, and I've got some statistics up on the screen here, once we know those consequences, the next thing we need to look at is, well, what's preventable? There's some things that we cannot prevent, but there's other things we can. If we can get people to not smoke cigarettes. We all know cigarettes are bad for us, but if we can communicate that better and we can help people make the decision to not smoke cigarettes, then we know that the chance of cardiovascular disease decreases, lung disease decreases, and so on. So we need to look at the consequences and then the behaviors. The Center for Disease Control has for years run the Youth Risk Behavior Survey. And there's 6 categories. There's the behaviors that contribute to unintentional injuries and violence, tobacco use, alcohol and drug use, and sexual behaviors related to unintended pregnancy and sexually transmitted infections. And then there's the unhealthy dietary behaviors and physical inactivity. Additionally, the survey analyzes the obesity and asthma and other priority health behaviors. This is conducted by the CDC, as I said, and large and urban school districts can have their own variations. So if there's an issue specific to a state or specific to a general area, this could be altered. The good thing about this is the data sets are readily available for states and at the national level. So you can compare state to state, you can compare age groups, you can compare your individual district compared to the national norm, the state norm, and so on. So it's a very readily available data set. So we can find out in our area what are the strengths and what are the weaknesses. It looks at 118 health behaviors and additionally obesity, overweight, and asthma. These are self-administered questionnaire, which is given during one class period, and it could be either be on the computer or a scannable booklet. It's not a perfect system. We know that students might not answer honestly with the fear that they're going to be found out about these negative behaviors. You know, say they smoke a cigarette, they might not actually mark it. So it's in the giving this out, we really try to communicate that it is anonymous and that there's no way that the teachers or parents or anybody could find out who wrote what down. It helps out with the understanding of what the health makeup is of the school and of the whole school system, state, and so on. There's a lot of information that can be found on the Center for Disease Control about this, including the results. Observations are a great way to find out about school health, because it's one thing to have a student mark a little box, yes, they've smoked a cigarette. It's another thing to really understand the behavior. And so participant observation is a qualitative method with roots in ethnographic research. Qualitative researchers know that there'll be multiple perspectives within any given community, and they're interested in knowing what those diverse perspectives and understanding the interplay between them. The qualitative researchers accomplish this through observation and by participating in varying degrees. Obviously, they don't want the research out there doing drugs to better understand drugs. It's probably not the best way to go about it, but they might interact with the students and so on. Participant observation always takes place in community settings, in locations to have the relevance to the research question. It's better to have the researcher go to the participant rather than the participant to the researcher. It gives more accurate results. The researcher engaged in participant observation tries to learn from what it's like from the insider. While in the community settings, researchers take careful notes about what they see, and then they're going to have their informal conversation, and they'll take notes on that as well. The information and messages communicated through mass media also, such as radio and television, may be pertinent and therefore desirable. They're going to write up the results, and as health educators, we can really benefit from better understanding, and it's a more well-rounded approach when you take this with the quantitative data. The point of this is to understand that that as health teachers, we need to closely monitor health trends. We need to understand the behaviors that drive the healthy and unhealthy decisions so we can better teach others. And we can only do this if we can understand the information that's out there, know where to look, and how to interpret the data.